Welcome to First Impact, a weekly podcast where we talk about the anime series Neon Genesis Evangelion. I'm Jordan, and with me is my co-host, Old Jen. So, some of the context for this podcast is you'll be watching Neon Genesis Evangelion for the first time.
Correct.
You've had sort of limited exposure to it. You know people who've talked about it.
Yes.
You've seen bits and pieces, but nothing in a way that is meaningful beyond maybe just recognizing some of the imagery.
Yeah. I know the song. The theme song's great. But yeah, I know it's in the ether of my mind.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
And for me, this is sort of like one of those, the sort of seminal sort of shows from my adolescence. One that I came into sort of with gusto.
Yep.
And really sort of, I guess, opened my sort of interest into anime.
Yep.
But also just because of the themes, because of like the age of myself.
I was about to say,
say,
because at the time you would have been that sort of around the age that Shinji is in the show, right? Yeah.
So coming back to it now, especially when there's going to be the series is being brought back to Netflix, we thought it would be great to sort of jump in, watch it again from the perspective of someone who's seeing it for the first time, and then also getting that perspective of someone who's has already fallen in love with the show.
Yeah. But who hasn't seen it in a while, right?
Yeah, watching it now as so like an adult, and sort of getting that different perspective on like how I sort of engage with the characters and the themes of the show. So with that, we'll sort of jump right into
let's do it.
Discussion about episode 1. Today we'll be talking about Episode 1, Angel Attack, originally aired on October 4th, 1995, written by Hideaki Anno and directed by Kazuya Tsurumaki. Oh, Jen.
Yeah.
First episode
in the bag. Something I want to ask straight away. Okay. Question I want to ask you, because maybe I missed it, or they're going to address it later. So the angel comes, right? It's like, been 15 years, but, this is definitely, it's right. It's an angel.
This is another angel, yep.
Right. So, first time in 15 years an angel's cropped up, okay? And yet Shinji's dad has clearly been working on these units, these Evas, right?
Yep,
since then. Why? Has he just been working on these multi-million-dollar robots just for the rainy day, just for the off chance that one shows up again?
Well, I think the implication by him, obviously, like it's been 15 years, is that they experienced a cataclysmic event, like possibly an angel attack, prior to the show starting, that prompted the development of the Evangelion units as a defense measure. And we're seeing the results of that program, obviously, because straight off the bat, the military is the one responding to it. And Gendo and his offsider, Fuyutsuki, in the wings, waiting for their chance
Well, that's what I mean. You say in the wings for 15 years.
Yeah, well...
It's pretty crazy.
They haven't experienced something like this for 15 years, so up until the point of the series starting, there's been no need for them to be anything other than in the background working on these things in the event that something like this happens again.
And then like, this is our moment, guys. This is our moment, right?
Yeah. Well, look, we can probably start this off with just a quick rundown or recap of the episode. So, obviously, we have the introduction of Shinji being picked up by Masato, who is one of the captains at NERV. She takes him to the NERV HQ, the Geofront, where he's introduced to his father in a very standoffish manner.
He's introduced to his father.
Yep. And then... he's guilted into getting into the robot. And we get to the point where he's about to face off against the first angel, which over the course of the episode, we've seen the military completely fail to pacify in any
Tanks,
sort of meaningful way.
Helicopters, missiles, all that shit.
The N2 mine.
Oh, the N2 mine. Yeah, no, nothing seems to work. And then it regenerates and grows a new face. And as you said, what? Wears it as a new little funny hat. It keeps the old face. Yeah,
the old face is now sitting as like a slightly askew hat.
You say askew, I would say jaunty, but go on.
Jaunty hat,
Just as a fucking... Remember the face you blew off? It's now a fucking hat. You know what I mean?
Remember me.
Remember my face, for it will be
Remember my faces.
Yeah.
Yeah, oh, and also we have that scene where... Fuyutsuki and Gendo are watching the footage, and once it starts regenerating, it views the helicopter or the VTOL vehicle that is like surveying it, and it targets it and shoots it with like a laser of some sort.
Which it wasn't able to do before.
Well, that it wasn't detecting the helicopters as a threat.
Yeah.
Or that they were surveying them.
Yeah, okay.
And then obviously it's able to, post N2 mine, it's able to detect which one is viewing them currently.
Do you think it's that one of those things where like the energy, like it absorbs the energy and makes it stronger, you know? Like the N2 mine.
Big angel energy.
Yeah, right. Well, the N2 mine, all the missiles and all the nonsense that they throw at this thing only makes it stronger.
Yeah, it is extremely adaptive.
Maybe it's a lesson, you know, choose love instead. You know what I mean? Like missiles, rockets, VT, whatever's, you know, they're not going to do the trick at the end of the day.
Yeah. It's all in the name. It's just a messenger. From
Angel.
God.
Oh, fuck. Angel, yeah, messenger. Okay.
Neon Genesis Evangelion.
Messenger. Yeah, okay, I see it. No, I see it. All right. So anyway, so the army fails, and then they stick Shinji in this robot dude with the stag beetle face, unicorn.
Yes,
it's got some horn thing going on.
The rhinoceros beetle.
But there was that. I think that totally dropped the ball. As in Gendo and his company,
his design team.
Yeah. His design team and his PR people. That big scene where Gendo and Shinji see each other, like for the first time or whatever it is, and Gendo's on like this big elevator platform. It's like, Shinji, you know, like either be in the stag beetle or not at all, or fuck off, you know.
Yep.
And Shinji's looking up at his dad, and the horn of the thing is directly in between them, right?
Yeah.
They can't be able to be seeing each other. And yet this is their first introduction in years. I just felt it could have been, done better by Gendo. Put the unit like slightly skew with or to the side so they can see each other. It just ruined the whole reveal, you know?
No, from Shinji's perspective, it was actually very phallic, and like what was happening was very Oedipal. And Gendo was reminding Shinji.
We went Oedipal first episode.
Who the daddy is.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
So he's like, you know, like the orientation of Unit 1, the large horn.
Yeah.
Gendo sort of positioned himself behind it. And he's
straddled.
Like,
you say straddled.
Yeah, straddled.
Go
and
on.
he's like,
yeah.
What do you think of my robot, son?
What do you think of my robot, son? Yeah, okay. Yeah, all right, fair enough.
Like, that's what's going on there. Like I think what you see from this first episode is Gendo at the very least, but more specifically, or more broadly, I should say, the opposite, is how Nerve as a whole has a flair for the theatrics.
Yeah, right.
You know, the presentation of like they bring Ritsuko, Masato, and Shinji all come into the room together. They come into the room with Unit 1.
Yeah.
They turn the lights off immediately before Shinji realizes what room he's walked into.
Yeah.
And then they wait until he's in the very center of the platform looking a certain way, and then they quickly turn the lights back on. And like, what do you think of this robot?
What do you think of this robot?
You know, like, that's impact.
Yeah,
You know,
it's all been choreographed.
They're masters of tension building. Yeah, so they take him on an elevator that takes him up, and you see a hand, and he's not paying attention. So that's like, fuck. That's a right.
Keep it together, like, see, we rehearsed this.
He was supposed to see the hand. He was supposed to be like, oh, what the fuck's that?
Yeah.
And then we get up to the room, we shut the lights off, we walk him in, and we surprise him with the face. You know, like, at least we got him with the face. We still had the maximum impact with the face. That's great. Bummer that he didn't see the hand, but it's cool because the robot's got our back.
Yeah.
And, you know, when the angel attacks and you start getting the rubble falling, and you have the arm come up, and they're like, nice save, Unit 1.
Yeah, right.
Nice save. Because you didn't see that hand at first.
No.
I'm glad you broke the restraints. I'm shocked, but I'm glad.
You know what, also now I'm starting to think through that lens? Because the big thing that convinces Shinji to man up. Yeah, fuck. The thing that convinces Shinji in the end to get in the unit.
Buck up is
Rei.
Masato's incessant toxic masculinity. Where she's just constantly assailing him for like,
a couple times.
You're a boy, aren't you?
You're a man, aren't you? You're a boy, aren't you? You know. And even Gendo standing in front of his son with the big horn.
Baby.
Yeah, right. With the horn in between, it's like, you want to be a man, you want a horn like this, you get in the robot.
Yeah.
And then they bring in Rei, the girl who was previously the pilot, but is now all fucked up because of it. She's in like a hospital bed or a gurney. They wheel her in. maybe she, maybe she's an actress.
It took 7 months for that,
Yeah,
for her
bullshit.
to be able to synchronize
right.
with her first.
She's a paid actress, right? So it's all choreographed.
How else do you explain that trippy vision of her on the street?
Yeah, right.
Also, I don't. Maybe I'm just like fooling myself here.
No.
But the shot of Ray, I think, is colored in a similar way to his very quick flashback of him being left as a child.
Oh, possibly. Okay.
So I don't know whether that's supposed to be like more just like a weird sort of surreal flashback imagery. Or I don't think she's standing there. Like that's absurd.
Oh yeah, right.
But yeah, like I don't know, deciphering sort of what that image is supposed to be other than intrigue.
Yeah, well, this is the first episode. I want to see as the series progresses if they keep doing this sort of surreally sort of stuff.
With Ray specifically, or just with characters with
just I want to
imagery.
Yeah, because Ray, one of the first scenes they show Ray, just a vision of Ray, and Shinji should know who Ray is at this point. An image of Ray just popping up in the street, like it's very surreal and weird. I want to see if that continues to be a thing, because if not, then it's interesting that that's what happened. This toxic masculinity thing. By that I mean Masato being a total sex pest. You're right. She's the one tasked with picking up Shinji, right?
Yes.
And she waits until he's about 10 seconds from being blown up to finally get her ass in gear, right? And she shows up, doesn't apologize for being late or like scaring the shit out of him. Yeah.
She does say sorry.
Yeah, but she does with like hey, sorry I'm late.
Yeah, kept you waiting, huh?
Yeah, right. And then shows him like, and her way of saying, "Oh yeah, I'll be here to pick you up."
That's just the Nerve HQ's flair for the dramatic.
Oh yeah, right. She was probably waiting around the corner, right?
Yeah, she
was probably
had the GPS
early.
going where she knew where he was.
Who are
and
these fucking
meanwhile,
people?
he's like at a payphone, like, "Oh, I thought she said to wait at the station. I don't know what I'm doing wrong."
Yeah. No, she was there the whole time. And I guess I was sort of answering my question from the start where I asked, like, what have these people been doing for 15 years? Preparing, you know what I mean?
For the greatest show of their life.
Wait, how old is Shinji?
14.
Oh, my God. Hang on. Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Okay, the angel attacks, right? 15 years ago. All right, it gets destroyed. Or we don't know what happened with that attack, right?
Mm-hmm.
So then I guess the government or whatever tasks Nerve or whatever with, preparing for next time, making these units. But then,
absolute units.
Yeah. But then Gendo is like, okay, yeah, we'll make the robots for the next time the angels come. What I'll do in the meantime is have a son. Okay? Right?
Yep.
Never speak to him. Right?
Yes.
Okay. Make him like hate me, but also sort of really want my, affection. Okay, I'll get all these actresses, these choreographers, lighting experts, right? And just prepare like for this 15-year long con where you have the massive reveal. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
God damn.
So what you're saying is, even though he presents a very stern, humorless sort of personality, he is actually...
He's a thespian at heart.
The world's greatest practical joker.
Yeah, right. Oh, man.
I mean, that's a reading.
Yeah,
that's definitely a reading that you can have.
Uh-huh. Man. And that goatee he has, again, the masculinity thing, like you want
No,
this
it's
horn.
a full beard.
It is a beard?
Yeah, it's a full beard.
Man. Yeah, right. You want a horn? You want a full beard?
You were tricking yourself.
You want chicks like this? Yeah. That's the other thing. Who's that, what's her name, the scientist lady?
Dr. Akagi.
Dr. Akagi, who thinks that professional working attire constitutes throwing a lab coat over a swimsuit.
Well, look, she was in the pool. In the Unit 1's cryostasis pool.
She had time to change. Okay? They had time to wheel Ray out from the hospital, and unplug her from whatever she was in.
So at the end, Shinji does agree to...
Yeah.
Well, you have the sequence where Ray's wheeled out.
Yep.
The angel attacks.
Yep.
Everything is thrown into chaos.
Yep.
She falls out of the bed,
and
Shinji rushes over to help her.
Uh-huh.
And
Good
then,
guy, Shinji.
Then the rubble starts to fall from the roof, and Unit 1 comes up and blocks it.
Right.
to everyone's shock that it was able to break free of its restraints.
That,
so we do very much have the sort of seeding of this idea that it's not just a straight mecha show where it's a robot that you pilot in a traditional sense, that it's actually some sort of like
synergy.
Yeah, some sort of synergy. That there is some sentience at the very least to it, or sentience in a way that they weren't expecting.
Yeah, and more than just sentience, but in particular a connection with Shinji himself.
Yes.
Because Gendo is like, we chose you because only you can do it, you know?
Yeah, and the obvious concerns that, like, they can put Rei into it, but it took her 7 months to synchronize with her own Eva unit, let alone Unit 1. Is she going to be able to replicate those results? There are even, obviously, Masato and Ritsuko have their own sort of concerns and speculation about Shinji being able to even pilot Unit 1.
Because he's not a man.
Where it's like 0.00009% chance of actually being able to activate and synchronize.
Yeah.
But the fact that you have to synchronize, the fact that it's done by wavelengths, like your brain waves and things like that, it's all setting up this sort of like, it's not quite mechanical.
Yeah.
That there is like an organic element to it.
Yep.
Which I don't think the show is trying to hide. I think the show is very like straight off the cuff, is trying to like seed those like thoughts in your head. It's definitely foreshadowing a lot of like what's to come.
Yeah.
And subverting, I guess, a lot of sort of expectations that you would have for this sort of super robot series.
Yeah, exactly. Well, you've told me that these units in this show are more humanoid than ones in other shows.
Yeah,
right?
Just from the
size of its package.
Yeah, from the design standpoint as well. Obviously, it has like quite an elongated humanoid form as opposed to maybe like a more armored sort of traditional, like your Gundam sort of thing.
Yeah. He does have pecs for days though. You notice that?
That sort of chest plate thing.
Yeah. That thing's jacked.
It is a toned body. It is an athlete's body.
Yeah, right. Okay.
So I think we should also touch on Masato's character.
Yeah, she's interesting.
Because straight off the bat, you have these sort of insights into, I guess, her complexity.
Yep.
That she is obviously someone of like, she's high-ranking officer at NERV.
Yeah, captain.
She has a lot of responsibility. She's been sent personally to collect Shinji.
Yeah.
They haven't trusted his safety to just some random sort of security guy to pick him up from the station.
True.
He is specifically being picked up by the captain.
Yeah.
Working at NERV HQ, and but we also see like her sort of playful side.
Yeah.
She's like, more overtly, she's very flirty. Like her choice of like letter to Shinji is the signed photo.
She sends
of herself.
a fucking headshot. Yeah, I know.
Yeah, with the lipstick mark on it.
Yeah,
so weird. And the sort of like the flirty little message. And then when she arrives, she's very playful in the way she talks. You know, like obviously points out sort of Shinji's like cute, but is a cold fish, like he's his father.
What's wrong?
Yeah, and that, you know, she's very much someone who is, I guess, not afraid to sort of play that angle of like being in a position of like high responsibility and high pressure, but also like maintaining sort of like a playful personality, which is like a sort of stark contrast to basically everyone else who works at NERV.
Yeah, everyone's
like
sort of stiff.
Gendo, they're all career professional sort of things, and their demeanor shows that. Even Ritsuko, who is like obviously a little bit more friendlier with Masato, but you still get that
she's pretty
chastising her and like you know, pointing out her like inappropriate behavior and the way she talks, which I feel is just more of like a, if anything, shows more of a friendship there, that they are sort of
I can see that
in a way
friends.
where the others aren't.
I want to talk about Masato. Like you say, you danced around it very well, okay? Just call her for what she is, dude. She's a fucking predator, okay?
Child predator.
The kid's 14, 15, okay? How old is she, would you say? Well, like 20?
Late 20s? Mid to late 20s?
Yeah, okay. It's not a... look. That scene where they're in Nerve HQ and just like, oh gee, what's the
The
problem?
'90s, it was fun back then.
Yeah, right. What was the reason it's cold in the place? She goes like, oh gee, it's they'll teach me for wearing a skirt in this. Like it's never good to wear.
Oh, because it's very drafty.
Wore the freaking skirt anyway, right?
Yeah, because
she works here. She knows about the draft.
The doors open and you get a huge gush of air.
The draft is open knowledge, right? And yet wore the skirt. Okay,
well, it's her best dress.
That's the other thing. Yeah, they're in the car and she's like, oh. Damn, I ruined my best dress, you know.
Dress to impress.
I wore it especially for Shinji, okay? I want to get Shinjiggy with it later, but... Oh, fuck, man. Can you tell that I was preparing Shinjiggy with it since
the minute we started recording?
Yeah.
That line was like...
Yeah.
It was all a series of, like, seeds.
Call me Gendo, dude. Call me Gendo, because I'm choreographing this shit, all right?
Because you got a beard and you got the glasses and...
That's true.
I have seen you wear white gloves more than once.
Hey, fuck you, dude. Yeah. That's the other thing. Yeah, the white gloves. Again, the theatrical nature of Gendo.
Well, yeah, when he appears, when he's talking to the military guys, and they're like,
yeah,
it looks like you'll get a chance at this after all.
Are you ready? And he holds up the glove. His gloved hand is like, you
pushes
see this
glasses
glove?
up.
Yeah, right. Talk about
which is really just a slick move to get those gloves in shot.
Yeah, we all know it. It's a glove shot.
Would I be wearing these gloves if I wasn't ready?
Glove shot. Talk about also the way that he exits a room, Gendo. He's got that little platform, that little elevator in the floor.
Absolutely.
He's talking to one of his underlings, like, get this done, and then the floor beneath him shines red, and he goes, you know?
Yeah. I mean, it's beautiful because Fuyutsuki has that look on his face, like, not this shit again.
Yeah.
Like... He it's like he can sense he's about to have a mic dropped on him.
Well, then
Gendo will now proceed to leave the scene.
Right.
And like once you start that train,
yeah,
you can't stop it. And he know and Fuyutsuki knows that. He's like, no matter what he says, even if he completely balls it up, he will stare at me with that smug look on his face as he exits via his magic little
he
platform.
must have a series of those installed in the facility, you know. So
you've just got to know.
You got to know where they are. You're talking to Gendo, right? And you think you're making some good points. You think you have the upper hand in the conversation, and then you see him just sort of wander toward the little patch on the floor, and
his words start to change.
Again.
They start getting a little bit more poetic, a little bit more like thought out. You're like, wait, where is this going?
Wait, is this prepared dialogue? What's happening? Why are you standing? Then he's gone.
You're just watching helplessly as he savages you.
Yeah.
And then rubs salt in the wound by disappearing in a little platform, though sometimes rising up out of the sea.
Well, that's the thing about this. It's revealed that, what's it called, Tokyo 3 or New Tokyo or something?
Tokyo 3.
Is in, I call it New Tokyo, is in, like, it's underground, it's upside down.
Well, so you're seeing the geofront.
Right.
And Tokyo 3 lowers down into the geofront.
Okay. So that's what I mean. Floor, ceiling, they're all sort of relative in Tokyo 3. Yeah. Oh, all right. So what are you looking forward in the next episode? I want to see if Shinji...
A big fight.
Yeah, right. Well, that's what they've set up for, right? Shinji's now in the thing.
Yeah, you leave me there on that. I mean, like, imagine watching this episode as it's airing and knowing, like, you've just had all this setup put on you and you're probably sitting there thinking, this next episode is going to be... This is going to be everything my little mecha boner wants. And, you know, let's just see what happens.
Mecha boner. Is that a Pokemon? Is it?
It's an evolved form.
Yeah. What is it? Cubone, Marowak, and then Mecha boner.
Well, there's the and you know, like in second gen where they started adding in the
pre-evolution,
evolved ones. Yeah, testicular.
Yeah, right.
Which is like a little eye.
Yeah,
but there's two and they're in a sack together.
Oh, like the two faces of the angel.
Yes, Sachiel.
Yeah, okay. Fuck, man.
That's one of those deep dives. I don't think look, my memory of the show, I can't remember if they ever say them in there.
Are we talking about Pokemon or Evangelion?
It doesn't matter. I'm back now.
Okay. Oh, yeah, okay.
Yeah, that it was like my fascination with the show when I was younger was such that, like, of course I had to know what the angels were called.
Oh, okay.
When you, like, scaring those, like, wikis in the early days of the, like, you know,
Yeah.
Before they were wikis,
Yeah, right.
sort of things, and you're scouring the information, trying to find out, and you're looking at these like fan-made websites with all the names, sort of shit.
So is this one that we saw in this episode? Is that Sashiel?
Yes, I believe so.
And does Sashiel mean anything?
Did
your googling? You didn't even go into the etymology. Oh,
look, you made me look this stuff up again.
Look it up.
Sashiel.
What does Sashiel mean?
Kabbalistic and Christian angelology.
Okay.
Sashiel is an archangel of the order of cherubim. The meaning of his name is given the covering of God.
Did they just Gendo us? I feel that's all meaning. No. All right, interesting. Oh well, when they, I assume there'll be more.
Is
angels.
This something you want from me? You want to know what all the angels are called? Because I can.
You can't rattle
I'll
them
do
off.
that ahead of time research for you.
Oh, all
I'll
right.
do this for you.
Okay then.
That context.
It would be interesting to know the names of the angels as they crop up and see what the connections are.
Yeah, I mean, this is a series that obviously the name of it very heavily implies a sort of like riffing on and intertextuality with sort of like Judeo-Christian sort of beliefs. And that sort of symbolism is going to crop up a lot more.
We even talked about the explosions, the angel attacks, you know.
Yeah, you get the cross.
Yeah.
Which is just obviously a nice, simple way of differentiating the angels' otherworldly abilities. Yeah. But, a really quick way to like get that. Because it's an angel.
It's an
guys.
angel.
You get it?
Cross attack. Yeah,
cross
right.
attack. So probably worth bringing up what the angels are called canonically. Yeah, just so that you can get that extra context. I don't think it's going to be just like a little bit of extra context, as opposed to I don't think there's any groundbreaking sort of like things to be pulled from that.
Yeah, okay.
Our second episode this week is The Beast, originally aired on October 11th, 1995, written by Hideaki Anno and Yōji Enokido, directed by Kazuya Tsurumaki. So in this episode is the conclusion of the fight from the first episode, where we see Shinji attempt to pilot the Unit 1 for the first time, and then seemingly fail before waking up in hospital. And then after waking up in hospital, he's discharged and taken home to live with Masato, and we get a little glimpse into her sort of home life. Yeah. And then at the end of the episode, just before Shinji sort of goes to sleep, we have the flashback to how the fight against the angel went. Yeah, and we see his victory, and we're left on a little bit of like a sort of praise from Masato, or at the very least, a hang in there.
Yeah, hang in there, kid.
Yeah, so how did you feel about this episode?
Well, last one we said, what are we looking forward to, or what do we expect to see, and it was the fight, and I think probably they knew that because they showed it immediately, right?
Then very quickly sort of subverted.
Yeah, exactly. So he gets in there and fails spectacularly. Literally stumbles and falls flat on his face.
Well, I mean, but after... So it's almost an impossible task they've set up, that he's even able to synchronize and activate the unit on his first attempt. Yeah. And much to everyone's shock and surprise. Yep. But like in a very positive way,
he wakes up anyway.
He steps forward and like obviously instills everyone with a lot of confidence that they might actually be able to pull this off.
And Shinji's like, not gonna happen.
Instead, he face plants very quickly, and the angel
that's embarrassing
capitalizes on it straight away. Yeah, okay. Beats the shit out of Unit 1, breaks his arm. And we sort of get that sort of glimpse into how the synchronization between the pilot and the...
Because he like feels the pain, doesn't he?
Yeah, he's like... His arm is like pulled away from him as if it is physically being torn or like broken by the angel.
But Masato, is it? Or the...
Yeah, I think it's Masato who says
it's not really your arm.
Yeah.
It's all an illusion.
Sort of trying to keep that sort of... being present and feeling what's happening, but also distancing yourself enough that you're not physically impaired by what's happening to the Ava.
I want to talk about when the unit goes berserk, as they say. Yep. The way in which it inflicts its damage on the angel. Yep. It's not like a robot.
It's very animalistic.
It's very like instinctive, like brutal, and almost got like an emotion to it. Yeah. He's like grabbing, like punching it over and over and like almost desperately just... and you almost said vindictively.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Well, that's why I had mentioned while we were watching it, that it's quite vindictive in the way that once it breaks through the Angel's AT field...
Yeah, right.
The invisible defense.
Yeah, okay.
That
the anti-touch field.
The anti-touch field.
That's what Shinji needs between him and Masato. Anyway, more on that later. Go on.
Yeah, once he breaks through that, and the first thing Unit 1 does is grab the Angel's arm and breaks it in the same way that it had broken.
I didn't even notice
his
that.
arm. Yeah, that's what I was saying. Like, super vindictive. Like, it goes out of its way to.
Oh wait, no, that moment, it almost like holds it in front of its face and snaps it.
And like snaps it in half. Yeah. Right. Also, just as he's about to break through the AT field, regenerates its arm.
Yeah, okay.
Which, like, everyone else is, like,
in
the control center is, like, shocked about all these things it's doing.
Yeah, right.
Gendo and Fuyutsuki are just, like, victory is assured.
Yeah, and that's the interesting thing. Because, it's going horribly, and then as soon as it goes berserk, what's his name, Fuyutsuki?
Yep.
Gendo's right-hand man is like, we've won.
Yeah, this is happening.
So I'm wondering if Gendo and Fuyutsuki, at least, and those guys know about this whole innate nature of the units, and everyone else doesn't. I don't know.
Well, at the very least, you get, in this episode, you see Gendo has that brief conversation with Ritsuko in the control room for the containment tank for Unit 0.
Yes.
And you see that, obviously, the control room that they're in is all smashed up.
Yeah.
And Unit 0 has some sort of adhesive foam sprayed all over it.
Yeah, right. That's right.
And it's locked in place, and it's got a fist into the wall. Like Unit 0 has, like,
been fighting.
The reason why it's currently deactivated in cryostasis is because it itself went into berserk.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, that's probably
and I would
true.
say maybe that's potentially where Fuyutsuki's coming from. That they've witnessed sort of the aggression of
they know about this
berserk
thing.
Ava.
Yeah, right. Also, I want to talk about that bizarro meeting between Gendo and his superiors, I guess. The dudes, the Megazord dudes, they all have their own color.
Yeah, they're all color-coded.
Oh, man. They're in this, like, blackened out conference room.
Yep.
And the dudes from, like, I don't know if they're all meant to be, like, Japanese, but they make a point of, like, zooming in on their faces, and they've all got different vibes and they're lit by different colors. They're definitely
very stylized characters.
Very stylized. Yeah, okay, that's a good way of putting it. Yeah.
Old and very, like, prominent sort of features to distinguish each of them.
Yeah, like caricatures, like the big noses and, like, the glasses.
Yeah, you've got that guy with the very shrill voice who's also got the sort of, like, very angular nose. Yeah. And, weird dudes. The sort of guy at the head, and he's got the visor on the Geordie LaForge.
This dude's casually watching. Yeah, this dude's casually watching VR porn in the middle of a meeting, and has the gusto to be condemning them and stuff. And then again, as we see about Nerve, theatrics above all else. When the meeting's over, they all shut off their lights at the same time, right?
Yep.
Oh, jeez.
Just leave Gendo in this room by himself.
Yeah.
I suspect it is like a, without sort of drawing too much attention to itself, they're like holographic video projection.
Yeah, they might
conference calling. Otherwise, if that's not the case, it is a very awkward situation in which everyone in the room has turned off their lights and they're pretending that they're not there. And Gendo is he's just awkwardly left in there, like...
Yeah.
If he waited there just for a little bit longer after saying, like, this concludes the portion of the meeting that involves you, Gendo, the rest of the meeting will be just for the rest of the members of this council.
Yeah, no. Yeah.
They all turn their lights off. The last guy stays to be like, don't forget, Gendo, you've got other priorities that are more important than this Evangelion and mucking around with your son and giving him a toy to play with.
Yeah.
You've also got this thing you should be focusing on. Anyway, I'm outie.
Yeah,
and he turns his light off.
Yeah.
If Gendo sat there for just a little bit, like, too long, would you just hear, like, this voice in the darkness be like,
please leave.
Gendo, this means you leave now so that we can continue the meeting.
I know. Awkward. I want to talk about that, what you just said, that, Gendo, you have more responsibilities. We hear about this human instrumentality project. Is that what it's called? So I guess this is the thing, all jokes aside, that he's sort of been meant to be working on the last 15
yeah,
years.
The defense against the angel implied by these guys at the very least to be secondary to his actual job.
His actual job, the human instrument, the hip.
The hip,
Yeah, they didn't sort of mention what that is yet, did they?
Well, see, they're old guys, and it's all in the abbreviation. The acronym, the hip. They need
replacement.
a hip replacement.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, right. That okay.
And Gendo's whole theory is like you start big, so if you build like a giant hip replacement, in the form of an Evangelion, then you can eventually.
If you can build a robot, you can build me a hip replacement, no problems.
And that's his. That's his line of thinking.
And that's why they have to resort to the dramatic lights on and off exit, because they can't physically get up and walk out of the room because their hips are fucked.
That's exactly right. You leave now.
Yeah, okay. So this is all... Right, it all comes back to hips. Yeah, okay. I have a feeling it's not about that. We'll see.
Just a sneaking suspicion.
Yeah, okay, we'll see.
Yeah, so we also have the scene in the hospital where we get the recurring theme of the episode that Shinji is in a unfamiliar place.
Yeah. What's it called? The unfamiliar ceiling?
Yeah, the mid-episode like tagline, unfamiliar ceiling comes up. Mm-hmm. That he doesn't recognize this ceiling. Mm-hmm. He keeps pointing out, and that everywhere in this city is going to be unfamiliar to him.
Yeah, right.
And that sort of leads very much into the establishing his sort of serial aloneness.
Yeah.
And
I'd rather be alone.
Yeah, he'd rather be alone. His father isn't interested in living with him, and that it's unnatural for them to be together.
That's the first smile that we see of Shinji as well, which was funny. Because Masato's are you sure? Like, you know, and he looks it up and smiles. I'd rather be alone. Like,
I mean, like,
it's
how
okay.
much of that
I'd
is
rather
like
be alone.
A brave face?
Oh yeah, it has to be.
Yeah, or he's sort of like facade.
Yeah, right. Speaking of Forever Alone, Masato as well. We get a glimpse, like you said, of her life, and we were talking. We think she's lonely as well, right?
Yeah, she's very much a work first sort of character.
Yeah.
Like, well, she has Pen, who we're introduced into like one of those sort of classic Evangelion comedic bits.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
With the Shinji stumbling across Pen and then bursting out into the kitchen or the dining room in the nude, and then the old toothpick gag.
Yeah. Okay.
But
lewd.
Yeah, aside from Pen, who is like a pet. Obviously, she lives alone, and she lives in practically a squalor. Yeah. Because, I mean, like, obviously very slovenly in nature, but you can definitely see where her priorities lie as sort of a person. Yeah. And sort of home cleanliness is not there.
No.
Fridge is filled with beer and snacks.
Oh, she's such a weirdo, dude. Because she's on the phone to, what's the scientist lady called again? I keep forgetting her name. Ritsuko. Masato's on the phone to her. She's like, oh, yeah, no, I'm taking the kid in. It's so good. It's not like I'm going to make the moves on him. No one ever would have suspected
immediately
or mentioned.
Chastised.
Yeah, right.
And then later in that episode, you also get the reversal where they're having the phone call and Dr. Kagi's on the phone to her and she's like, well, you know, like, you're the one who wanted him to move in and, you know, now you're already complaining, and then you get the shut up and you get the identical, like, sort of taking the phone away from your thing. Sort of definitely, I feel like reinforcing that sort of like friendship, like at the least, like sort of a little bit more than just work colleagues. Right. That there is a little bit of, at the very least, similar ages, or a little bit more like camaraderie between the two of them.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, it'd be interesting to see how those two get along. I guess we have to talk about Pen, dude. I mean, I don't want to. The guy's a freak. I don't trust him.
I mean, he's just one of those new hot spring penguins.
I don't know what his angle is.
He likes the steam of the bath. He likes the cool of the fridge.
Yeah, right.
Look, he's a very versatile penguin.
He's for all seasons. Speaking of the bath, that's sort of interesting. Shinji has a bath. What does Masato say?
The altering perspectives on bathing.
I maintain they're in the same bath at the same time. And
that's just very large.
Shot. Yeah, it's a very long,
It's one of those classic bathhouse scenes.
Yeah, right. Yeah. And because Masato's like, what bathing is the what is it?
Bathing is the laundry of life.
Which
I think it's different in the dub.
Yeah, okay.
I think it's like...
Because it sounds like straight Gendo to me, you know. Poetic but meaningless.
Hey, you wash away all the hardships of
well,
the
that's
day.
the thing. That we was talking about her loneliness and her putting on sort of a brave face, you know. She just likes to wash away all her worries as well. You know? She's saying, oh, I don't know many people in this city, you know. Yeah, we're getting a glimpse of her into... Yeah.
Well, she's a workaholic.
Yeah, okay, but she's like a bit self-conscious.
She's a playful spirit, but very much a workaholic.
Well,
is what I get from
that's
a
true.
lot of her establishing traits.
Well, in the scenes where, like at the start, you know, with the battle, she really, when it's those dramatic moments, then you can tell, she's the
commanding officer.
Yeah, then I can see it. But then when she's at home, she's fucking a penguin. Did I? No. But you know,
yeah, I mean, the show does a really good job of like duality and like the multidimensionality of characters, and that I don't think anyone is ever presented in one way and not fleshed out. In a believable sort of thematically rich way.
Yeah. And I agree, and that's why I'm sort of interested to see what they do with Gendo, because at the moment he's seemingly like the most one-dimensional guy,
right? Yeah,
you know, even when
he's the hands sort of hiding the face, everything is going according to plan, right. I'm working for these shady guys, sort of shit.
Yeah, and even when he's asked, "Oh, how's Ray? You went to the hospital?" He's like, "She'll be ready to work in 20 days."
Yes,
that's all he's, you know.
It's all business.
All business with him.
You know, why did you summon me? I needed you, nothing else. Either get in the thing or get out. So, yeah. And also tying into, obviously, Shinji's estrangement from Gendo and sort of his familial issues. You sort of also had that line from Masato when they're riding the train down in the first episode.
Oh, yeah.
That you're like, oh, you've got issues with your father.
Yeah, right.
Or you don't get along with your father much.
Yeah.
Neither do I.
Yeah, that's right.
And so you've got those sort of seeding elements that, like a lot, sort of... familial strain, or estrangement is like a sort of establishing sort of theme that's already appearing in the first two episodes.
It's in the ether.
Yeah.
Okay. Look, they're trying their hardest to make Masato, sympathetic. Oh, she doesn't get along with her dad either. I don't know, man. This only reinforced what I was sort of alluding to in the first episode. She's a creepazoid, dude. She's a creepazoid. Oh, yeah, aren't you a man? Drink this beer. Look at my penguin,
Look at my penguin.
Get in my bath.
The classic opening line.
Oh, yeah, I guess. I wonder if Pen Pen's even real. You know what I mean? Maybe he's another vision, like
that
Shinji saw of Ray.
A joint hallucination.
He's a shadow penguin. The worst kind. Look, I'll be interested to see what they do with Pen Pal.
Sort of another sort of continuation from the first episode and our sort of discussions about the nature of the unit, like Unit 1 and the Evangelions.
Yeah.
Is sort of like we talked about sort of foreshadowing and how I don't really believe that it's sort of hiding too much of its true nature.
Yep.
And we definitely see that in this episode as well.
Eye?
Straight away.
Yeah.
Well, not straight away.
Yeah.
But in this second episode, at the conclusion of the battle, we very much see the sort of organic nature of it.
Yep.
The fact that it's able to regenerate limbs. And at the end, when the angel self-destructs and Unit 1's standing there post-battle.
Not just standing there, dude. Come on. Credit where credit's due. Thank you.
From it.
Yeah. And everyone's looking through the view screens like, oh my God, is that a dramatic entrance?
We have made.
It's completely evolved.
An absolute.
Yeah, right. An absolute baller. And then we see just popping an eye. Yeah,
the eye springs forth.
Yeah,
sort of in a very lewd way.
It was lewd there for a sec because they had like the eye socket, which is pink and throbbing, and then the eyeballs. Oh, it's just an eye. Okay.
And Shinji obviously having the horrific moment of looking at the Unit 1's eye from the Unit 1's eye.
Oh, yeah.
Because of the way the sort of synchronization works and sort of like that internal terror of realizing that you're inside something that's alive as opposed to just being inside a robot.
Yeah, right.
Continuing on from that sort of like living unit, Evangelion.
Are angels alive?
I would say so.
Yeah, I guess.
They have blood.
Yeah, right.
In the fight when Unit 1's fighting...
No, I mean real angels. I meant real angels.
Threw me a giant
No. I just threw you a whole philosophical, are angels alive? Maybe this is a question for another podcast.
Ask Padme.
Yeah. Are you an angel?
But, yeah, you have that moment where, as a continuation of the sort of Evangelion being alive thing, and the way in which it causes strain on the pilot.
Yeah.
We have that sort of like questioning very early on in the episode when they're saying that Shinji's awake and that he's a little bit hazy about what happened.
In the car.
And Masato's immediate concern is, was it mental contamination?
Yes, mental contamination.
If there's like the way that they sync that there is that sort of potential for harm to be done.
like
And that his loss of memory could in fact be because of the sort of syncing process with the unit.
Well, we see him, because a lot of the events of this episode happen when Shinji's in bed reliving all this stuff. Yeah. And he's like turned away from Masato and he's like facing the wall. And he's looks like he's seen a ghost. And you think, he's just sort of traumatized. But I don't know.
It's like it's sort of slowly filtering
it's sort of more than
what
that.
had happened to him.
It's that, but it also, to me at least, the way that they depicted it was, he did seem like physically, like mentally affected, like in a not supernatural. Yeah, that he more than just traumatized, but he's been inflicted with something.
Like he was present. Yeah. When the Unit 1 went berserk.
And now I wonder if that's what sort of happened with Rei as well, because we see her again. Has she been affected? Like, has she been mentally contaminated by her unit? Yeah, well,
that's something that we really have no answers on at this point in time, because we've had basically 2 glimpses at Rei so far. Yeah, a lot of suggestion about the incident that she was in prior to the series start. Yeah, and we've got the glimpse of her being wheeled past in a hospital bed. Obviously, still very
more guilt
banged
stuff
up from the
more classic Nerve guilt stuff. Yeah, go on.
Yeah. If you think you've got it bad, wheels Rei past.
You're
walking.
Yeah, right, exactly. Oh wait, remember when in the battle when Shinji in the unit falls down, stumbles, right? Because the leg sort of comes out from under him.
Yep.
Right?
The full face plant.
Yeah, the hip. Yeah.
There it is.
You're right.
So this episode, definitely sort of a companion piece to the first episode. Well and truly. I don't think you can watch one without immediately jumping into the second one if you want that conclusion. But it's really, I think the two of them have created like a really solid sort of foundation for the characters, at least your sort of early principal cast, your Masato, Gendo, and Shinji's relationship. Yeah. And you've got the sort of teasing of Rei.
I mean, I'm most interested in her. What they're going to do with her, or what her story is. If she's going to even speak. What if she,
Well, she had that moment in episode 1 where she reacted to Shinji's cold fish hands.
Yeah, I know. That's all
that was happening. He picked her up and touched her bare shoulders with his cold hands, and she's like, "Oh,
human touch."
But that's because she needs an anti-touch field.
Oh man, yeah.
Well, that should just about do us for this episode.
Yeah, no, that was good.
I think we had a great couple of opening episodes to dive into, and we're certainly going to see a lot more unfolding as the series goes on.
Well, I'm excited for episode 3, which I think the first 2 have done the job, right?
Absolutely. Well, I've been Jordan, and you can follow me on Twitter at itsgotstealth. And old Jen is completely off the grid, so you'll never track him down.
No.
He's smarter than all of us.
Call me Tokyo 3, because I'm underground.